Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back to Fandom Frequency. It's your boy Kenny, and today I'm bringing you the latest installment in the recap, where we break down every single episode, either week by week or mid-season or the entire season, where we recap the entire season that we're discussing of a particular show. And today we're going to be discussing the latest MCU flick, and I'm talking the latest MCU series. And I'm talking about Loki, baby. The god of mischief is here. And we got variants running around screwing up the timeline, baby. And we got the TVA hot on his trail, trying to stop him from fucking up the whole timeline, y'all. And before we run any further, I hope you actually read the title of the episode, because this is a spoiler recap, y'all. Spoiler alert, look at the thumbnail, man. This is a spoiler review, so make sure you keep that in mind. And if you haven't watched the episode yet, go to Disney Plus, get your homie's password, whatever you got to do, and watch the episode. But with no further ado, let's get right into this bad boy, and we pick up with a recap of the Endgame time travel shenanigans that the Avengers were doing, going to the end of the original Avengers movie when they were in Endgame, coming from 2023 to 2012. And, they're trying to go get the Tesseract so they can get all the Infinity Stones, so they can, reverse the snap and all that good jazz, so they can put everything back in the timeline where it's supposed to be. And in the process of doing that, Hulk's got to take the stairs, and Loki ends up getting away with the Tesseract. And we jump right into it with a portal opening up in the Gobi Desert in Mongolia, and you see a portal open up in the sky, and Loki comes flying through it with the Tesseract, Rick and Morty style, and then he ends up seeing some Mongolian people come up to him, so he gets up quickly and snaps right into Loki mode, man, and he's all, I am burdened with glorious purpose, like he always does, and he's telling them, I am here to rule you, and they're talking in Mongolian, looking like, who the hell are you, bruh? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hilarious, man. And he's like, oh, come on, you don't know who I am? And then all of a sudden, a door-like portal opens up, and Agent B-15 from the Minutemen, who are associated with the TVA, of course, come through the portal, and they're like, yo, Loki, you're under arrest for fucking with the timeline, boy. And he's like, do you know who you're talking to? You're talking to a god. And then Homegirl ends up hitting him with that back elbow, and he's getting hit with all the force in regular time, but he is actually in slow-mo in 1/16th time, feeling all the pain of the hit in real time. So that's some crazy shit right there, boy. Zack Snyder, take some notes, dog. And then as the Minutemen take him into custody, they use a timeline reset device that they press the button on the top of it, and it resets the timeline of whatever variant is messing around, so that way everything goes back to normal and goes according to the sacred timeline dictated by the timekeepers, who we'll get into in just a little bit. And then we pop up with Loki and Agent B-15 holding him in custody in the lobby of the TVA, of course. And then from there, he tries to escape, but B-15 just resets him right back where he was, because she has a little timeline reset device with the collar wrapped around his neck, where she can pretty much put him in a time loop and reverse him back to where he was. If he tries to run away or tries to attack them, she can reverse him to where he started from. So just like a matter of seconds or minutes. This isn't something I don't think you could reset somebody back hours or days or years, but hey, I could be wrong, you know what I'm saying? And then once he gets to the TVA, B-15 prevents him from running away. And then he ends up having to give the Tesseract to the receptionist guy at the front desk. And after that, he gets his prison garb as this little TV machine melts off his fine Asgardian leather. And after that, he ends up getting dropped down in this little trap door under him, and he has to end up signing a written agreement of every single thing he's ever said, which is hilarious and such Rick and Morty type vibes right there, man. You know the people behind that show are definitely involved on this, and you can feel their influence. So Kevin Feige, baby, just picking the right people for the right projects, man. And where was I though? Before I go on too much of a tangent, after he gets his prison garb and all that good stuff, and then he has to sign his little written agreement of everything he says, and then he has to go through this little like pretty much like a little checkpoint like at the airport, and he ends up having to confirm if he's a robot or not, and he has to confirm if he is, whether he's aware he's a robot or not. And he's like, "What the hell? Why would I not know if I'm a robot?" And the dude's like, "I don't know, dude. I've seen some shit. Just confirm if you're a robot, then step through the machine." And he's like, "Well, what happens if I am a robot?" And he's like, "Oh, you're just gonna melt from the inside out, dude. Hurry up. I got other shit to do." You know what I'm saying? So he's over here like TSA, like, "Come on, homie. If you ain't a terrorist, I ain't got time. I ain't got time to deal with you." So then after he does that, he has to grab a ticket. But this other criminal that's coming in around the same time, getting escorted in there in custody, he's like, "I don't want no fucking ticket, bro. Like, fuck off. This ain't no fucking deli. What is this? Like, I ain't taking no ticket." And then Loki's like, "All right, dude, I'll take your stupid ticket, so that way you people so that way you people can stop fucking with me." And after he takes his ticket, he ends up getting in the line, and then he ends up seeing the other criminal is still talking shit and won't doesn't have his ticket when he gets up to the terminal where he's supposed to talk to the front desk, and then he ends up getting erased or disintegrated from the timeline with some crazy ass rod that they have. I don't know what they call it, but the shit's crazy. And then Loki ends up watching the TVA explainer, aka the multiverse explainer, in Miss Minute's little introductory video, a la Jurassic Park style. You know what I'm saying? And then she ends up breaking everything down for him and how everything used to be a big multiverse in the world that we know now. But at the end of this current timeline that we know today as the sacred timeline, the timekeepers came together after there was a multiversal war with all the different people from all the different multiverses being aware of each other and fighting for supremacy. The timekeepers came in, ended the war, and then reset the timeline to just be one sacred timeline that they dictate how everything has to go, and everything has to go in this exact sequence throughout all time. And if anyone goes off of that, that becomes a variant person who is like an alternate version of someone in an alternate timeline version of a person that's messing around with time or time traveling or what have you. And at that point, if they go too far with something that they're doing, they create what's called a nexus event. And once there's a nexus event, it creates an entirely different branch timeline, like the ancient one was talking about in Endgame. So this all kind of ties together and kind of starts to weave in. And I'm not sure if she's aware of the TVA, but definitely something I got in the back of my mind, and I'll bring up again in one of these recap episodes, that's for sure. But after that, yeah, and we also got a little tease of that Nexus event in WandaVision as well when we got that little Nexus commercial. So yeah, a lot of good comic book teasings there. You know what I'm saying? With Wanda Maximoff being a Nexus person in the comics, her existing throughout all of the multiverse, and just a multiverse existing in general, and her tying into the multiverse of madness with Doc Strange too, man. There's a lot of stuff going on, so I am definitely very excited to see where things go. But to keep this thing rolling along, oh yeah, by the way, Miss Minutes was voiced by the great Tara Strong. I just got to make sure I throw that shout out in there. Because come on, man, it's the great Tara Strong, baby. You got to throw some love right there. And then after that, Loki is in custody and everything. Then we jump over to the year 1549 in France, and we pick up with Owen Wilson's character, Agent Mobius. And he's at a crime scene caused by some variant or some person that's about to create their own Nexus event if they pass the red point on this little meter that one of the Minutemen has that's accompanied Agent Mobius to the crime scene. And he ends up finding this French kid that was actually a witness to the crime, and he ends up interrogating him and seeing who the hell it was and who he saw. And the kid ends up pointing to the stained glass window of like this Satan devil looking creature with horns. And we all know that's a Loki reference. Not Mephisto, people. Take those tin hats off and get off Reddit. Not Mephisto. It's a Loki reference, y'all. Come on now. And then and after he interrogates the Frenchie kid, after he interrogates the French kid, we jump back over to Loki, and while he's about to get taken to trial. And once he is taken to trial and he's at the stand, he is brought before the judge, who is played by Gugu Mbathu Ra, and her character, Ravonna Renslayer, who is going to sentence him for his crimes against the sacred timeline. And as she's going through it and asking him how he pleads, he's like, "Dude, I'm a god. I don't plead. Are you kidding me? Come on now, lady." And then she's all like, "Come on, bro. You're guilty. You broke the sacred timeline. Don't bitch about the Avengers, bro. Don't bring them up and try to point the blame because they were meant to travel in time and to prevent Thanos from wiping out half the universe. This was all meant to be. You were not meant to escape, homie." So then Loki's like, "Damn. Okay, whatever, man. Well, I'm a god and you can't do nothing to me. Bring out your little space lizards. Let's go." And then after that, Mobius ends up intervening after he's back from the crime scene over there in France in 1549, and he approaches the bench to talk to Renslayer about letting Loki help him out with the variant they're trying to track down. So after that, she's like, "All right, bro, if anything goes south, it's on yo ass." So he ends up taking Loki out of the courtroom and ends up taking him into an interrogation room to kind of get into his psyche and see what makes him tick and to see if this Loki could be a good person like our main timeline Loki turned out to be. You know what I'm saying? Is there still hope for the guy yet? So after that, they just go through all this interrogation. You know what I'm saying? He's asking all these personal and behavioral questions. Mobius even mentions at one point, "You never knew about us because you never needed to." When Loki asked, "Why did I never know about you guys? How do I not know when I'm from Asgard?" And he's like, "You never needed to know we existed, bro. It's a sacred timeline. You don't need to know because someone like you just did, will fuck with it. So we don't want you to know," which makes total sense too. And he lets him know like time moves differently in the TVA, bro. Like I'm gonna reset you back where you were just standing when you're trying to attack me right now. Like time moves differently, dog. Like 5 minutes for you is just another time for me. Me jumping forth between three different points in the timeline is just another day at the office for me, dog. Like you don't even know what you're dealing with here. And Loki really doesn't know that he's out of his league yet, but he will find that out. And he even tells him, he shows him his greatest hits. You know what I'm saying? Him killing Agent Phil Coulson, him getting beaten by the Avengers, him over there accidentally getting his mom killed by sending the guards from his prison cell in Asgard up to her quarters. And he didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? In the original timeline in Thor the Dark World, he didn't even know this shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy. And he just gets to the point like, do you enjoy hurting people? Do you enjoy killing people, Loki? Like Mobius just gets right to the point. You know what I'm saying? And I just love this whole back and forth that they have. You know what I'm saying? And we even get a little flashback to Loki being DB Cooper in our actual timeline. So who would have thought that you lost a bet to Thor and had to go mess around over there on Earth? God of mischief, baby, God of mischief. But once we do that, Loki ends up coming back from the time loop, and Mobius ends up getting the time looper that he had taken by Loki when he gives him a hand to pick him back up when he's trying to get his cooperation, and then he gets called off because there's a situation where the variant Loki is off doing some more bullshit, and then this Loki that we know, the other variant Loki, is taking that so he can time loop himself out of the interrogation room to make his escape to get to the Tesseract. Once he actually finds the guy that he actually gave the Tesseract to, he finds out that obviously it's in this little cart that he's pushing, but this dude has hella Infinity Stones in there. This shit is crazy, dog. Like none of them work in the TVA, and I don't know if that's like a comic book reference of them not working outside of their reality in this pocket dimension or what. I don't know exactly what that means, but none of the Infinity Stones work. He can't even use the Tesseract to get out of there. He can't even use it for an escape, and he's just like, damn, like Loki's just like dumbfounded. Like, what kind of power are we dealing with here? So after that, Loki ends up time looping himself back into the interrogation room so he can finish watching the timeline stuff for the rest of the life of the regular timeline Loki that we came to know and love. And he's ended up watching the footage that Mobius was showing him and picking off where it left off in Thor: The Dark World, and just seeing the death of his mother, the death of his father, and the acceptance of him actually as the son of his father, and just that acceptance and really being a family there at the end in the beginning of Thor Ragnarok. You know what I mean? And just seeing his whole life come full circle, and at the end giving up his life for the greater good to try to stop Thanos, and to see his own life get taken away by the guy he literally just went to Earth in battle for just minutes prior to this event that we're seeing right now is insanity. And he just witnesses his own death. Could you imagine that? Witnessing your own death? Like, I don't even want to imagine that. That's crazy, yo. So then after that, Agent B-15 is hot on his trail and wants to erase his ass quick and almost ends up erasing the dude from the damn desk. And then Loki realizes, like, he's just like, man, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Like, I can't fight against you guys, you know? I guess I just got to work with you, you know? Mobius comes back into the room and Loki's like, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to find my greater purpose, you know? Maybe it's time for me to do something different and try to help and do something for the greater good because I can see now that I just made other people better around me and always lost and didn't really fulfill this greater purpose, this burden, this glorious burden, burden with glorious purpose, as he always says. You know what I'm saying? Like he just realizes really who he is and kind of just wants to help. And Mobius ends up telling him, bro, yo, the variant we're trying to track down and the reason why I got you and recruited you to help me bring down this variant is because it's you. It's another version of you. So who better to bring you down than yourself, right? So you get a maniac, you send in a maniac to catch a maniac. Little sly reference right there. But yeah, man, then we jump over to 1858, Salinas, Oklahoma, where another variant is hot on the scene, and the Minutemen are coming in there and saying, "Oh man, there's a bunch of gasoline around here," and they're in this abandoned field, and they're like, "Oh, I think some jackass just got a time machine and ended up trying to come back in time to get rich or some shit. Let's just get out of here and reset the timeline real quick." And then right when they're about to reset the timeline, you see some cloaked figure jump out of the darkness, and they're like, "Who the hell is that?" And they got a lantern, right? And this the variant that we've all been hunting down this whole time, the Loki variant, drops the lantern and everyone gets lit on fire like it's a goddamn bonfire in a camp in a campground. And when the Minutemen's over there trying to crawl to get the timeline reset device so we can reset it, Loki stops him and takes it and breaks it so that way this timeline is still set and a Nexus event is all but inevitable. So what is this variant Loki up to, man? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know what the end game is, but I'm 99% sure that either in this next episode, in episode 2, or within the next few episodes or whatever, it's going to be revealed that this variant Loki is Lady Loki. I'm pretty sure because I think I might have saw some spoilery leak details about the casting or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So I think Sophia DiMartino, I believe is the actress's name, is playing Lady Loki, and I believe that's who we saw at the end of episode 1. So, hey, man, by the time we all have seen this video a few times, by the time this video is out there for a little bit, it's going to be episode 2 time. So we're going to know if I'm right or wrong not too long from now from this recording. But I'm pretty sure that was Lady Loki. But yeah, man, I got to say, overall, the premiere of Loki was damn good, really solid, and I had a really good time with it. I got to give it an 8 out of 10. I don't really have a lot of major complaints with this, man. It didn't blow me away, per se. It didn't necessarily have a ton of action like maybe I would have liked, but the action that was there was very inventive and very interesting. And I love that this show was very funny, witty, but trippy and different. Marvel is definitely taking a risk with this, and as a lifelong Marvel fan, I'm glad to see it on the screen and getting to see them get really trippy and really fully embrace the source material, really fully embrace the comic booky weirdness of superheroes, man. So I love it, man. This is just the beginning of our Loki recaps, man. So make sure you check us out and stay tuned, y'all. Don't sleep. This is just the beginning. We're going to do all 6 episodes of Loki. We're going to do all 10 episodes of the next Marvel show, What If, the animated anthology series they got in the works dropping in August. We're also got a recap coming up of the mid-season of My Hero Academia, so don't miss out on that. We also got a recap coming for the Star Wars series on Disney Plus right now, The Bad Batch. So we got a lot of recaps coming at y'all. We got plenty of spoiler discussions coming, man, reviews and whatnot. And we got a special alternate show in the works. So the network is just going to keep growing, baby. This is just the beginning. So make sure you click that like, make sure you click the share, make sure you click the subscribe if you're watching this on the YouTube. And if you're just checking us out on the audio formats, we're all over the place. We got like 8, 9 different destinations and places you can check us out and download the episodes. So download the episodes, you know what I'm saying? Make sure to share it with your friends and fam. And make sure to subscribe and follow us on the Apple Podcasts, the Google, and the iHeartRadios and the Spotifys. Make sure to follow us all over the place, y'all. And we also are all over social media at fandom_frequency. You can find us all over the place, y'all. So until next time, we're burdened with glorious purpose. Peace out, y'all.